Imagine training your whole life for one shot at glory, only to be told you can't even play because you don't have the money. That's exactly what happened to these young athletes. Dreams crushed, doors slammed shut. And here's the craziest part. An NFL superstar was secretly watching. Stay till the end to know what he did next. Floodlights flickered over the worn-out practice field as the Blue Hawks ran their final drills. Their cleats kicked up dust from the uneven ground, their breath visible in the cold evening air. The excitement of the upcoming tournament should have filled them with adrenaline. But tonight, a heavy silence hung between them. Coach Riley, a former star player whose own career had been cut short by injuries, clapped her hands. "All right, bring it in." Her voice carried strength, but her eyes betrayed something else. Worry. As the team huddled, Ava, the captain, wiped sweat from her forehead and exchanged a glance with her best friend, Mia. The tension was unbearable. No one wanted to say it out loud, but they all knew. This could be their last practice. Finally, Riley sighed and spoke. "I won't sugarcoat it. Our main sponsor backed out. Without funding, we can't afford travel, entry fees, even new jerseys." She looked at their faded uniforms, stitched and restitched over the years. "I've tried everything, but as of now, we don't have a way to compete." Silence. Then Mia's voice, barely above a whisper. "So? That's it? We just give up?" Ava clenched her fists. There has to be another way." But deep down, she wasn't sure there was. The cafe smelled of freshly brewed coffee and warm pastries, a sharp contrast to the icy wind howling outside. Travis Kelce adjusted his hoodie, trying to keep a low profile as he waited for his order. The place was quiet, the kind of cozy, small-town spot where conversations carried easily. That's when he heard it. Two girls sat in the corner, their voices hushed but tense. "It's over, Mia," one of them said, frustration laced in her words. "Coach tried everything. No sponsor, no tournament. We don't have the money, and no one cares." Mia exhaled sharply, her fingers gripping her coffee cup like it was the only thing keeping her together. "We worked for this. Every single day, Ava. And now, what? Just because we don't have rich donors, we don't get to play?" Her voice wavered, and for a second, she just stared at the swirling steam rising from her drink. "If we can't even get a chance, what's the point of dreaming anymore?" Travis felt something tighten in his chest. He had been in their shoes once, not financially, but fighting to prove himself when no one believed he could make it. He wasn't planning to get involved, but something about this felt different. He leaned toward the counter. "Hey," he said to the barista, nodding toward the girls. "What's their story?" As the barista explained, Kelsey's mind raced. No cameras, no headlines, just a quiet decision forming. He had to do something. The locker room felt heavier than usual, the air thick with unspoken fears. Cleats scraped against the cold concrete floor as the Blue Hawks sat in silence, staring at their worn-out gear. A week ago, they had still believed they'd make it to the tournament. Now, reality was sinking in. Without money for travel, entry fees, or even proper jerseys, they were out before they ever got the chance to fight. Coach Riley exhaled, gripping the back of a chair. "I made calls, every sponsor I could think of, but it's not happening." Her voice was steady, but her hands weren't. Mia bit her lip so hard it almost bled. "So, that's it? We just quit?" Ava clenched her fists, her knuckles turning white. There has to be another way. But even she didn't know what that way was. Then, the unexpected happened. A knock at the door. The team barely looked up until the assistant coach rushed in, out of breath, eyes wide. "Someone covered everything," She blurted out, "Travel, fees, jerseys, you're in." The room froze. Heartbeats pounded in stunned silence. "Who?" Riley asked, voice barely above a whisper. The assistant shook her head. "No idea. Anonymous donation." Tears welled in Mia's eyes. Ava swallowed hard. Somewhere, someone had believed in them. What they didn't know, sitting in the shadows of the stadium, unseen and silent, was that Travis Kelce had just made the biggest play of his life. The halftime whistle cut through the air like a final warning. The Blue Hawks trudged toward the bench, sweat dripping down their faces, jerseys clinging to their bodies. 1-0. They were losing, and worse, they were losing hope. Mia collapsed onto the bench, breathing heavily. "We can't keep up," she muttered, shaking her head. "They're faster, stronger." Ava clenched her fists, staring at the scoreboard like she could will it to change. We didn't come this far to roll over. But even she felt the doubt creeping in. Then, a sudden roar erupted from the stands, louder than anything they'd heard all game. Confused, the girls turned, searching the crowd. And then they saw him, Travis Kelce, standing, yelling, fists in the air. "Let's go, Blue Hawks!" His voice boomed, cutting through the stadium noise. People turned, cameras flashed, murmurs spread like wildfire. Mia's breath hitched. Is this real? Ava felt something shift inside her, a fire reigniting. If an NFL superstar believed in them, if he thought they were worth fighting for, how could they not believe in themselves? She stood, eyes blazing. We're not done yet. And when they stepped back onto that field, they were a different team. The final whistle blew, but for a moment, no one moved. Then, an eruption. The Blue Hawks had done it. Against all odds, against every setback, they had won. Mia fell to her knees, overwhelmed, as Ava pulled her into a fierce hug. Tears mixed with sweat, gasps of disbelief turning into screams of pure joy. Their coach wiped her eyes, trying, and failing, to hold back emotion. As they huddled together, the realization sank in. They weren't just a team. They were proof. Proof that talent deserved a chance, no matter the obstacles. Proof that belief, whether in yourself or from a stranger in the crowd, could change everything. Then, the final shock. Coach Riley cleared her throat, her voice thick with emotion. "Girls, there's something you should know. Travis Kelce." She swallowed, smiling through the tears. "He's the reason you're here. He made this happen." Silence. Disbelief. Then, chaos. Players spun, eyes scanning the crowd. And there he was, standing at the edge of the field, hands in his pockets, a quiet grin on his face. Ava rushed forward. "Why? Why us?" Kelce shrugged. "Because you deserve the shot." The media caught on. The internet exploded. But for the Blue Hawks, this was more than a viral moment. It was the beginning. Because sometimes, the right person believing in you is all it takes to change everything. How many talented athletes never get their shot? Not because they lack skill, but because they lack opportunity? If this story inspired you, share it. Because every athlete deserves a chance.